Welcome back to Grammar Grade 10. This is Unit 4, Lesson 24, and today we open the unit that pulls whole sentences apart, clauses. By the end of this lesson, you'll be able to look at any group of words and say, that's a main clause, it can stand on its own. Or, that's a subordinate clause, it cannot. And you'll see exactly why getting that wrong is how fragments sneak into your writing. Let's get into it. So what exactly is a clause? Here's the definition to hold on to. A clause is a group of words that has its very own subject and its very own predicate. Look at this. The swimmers trained before dawn. Who is doing something? The swimmers. That's the subject. What are they doing? Trained before dawn. That's the predicate. Subject plus predicate, sitting right there inside the group of words. That is what makes it a clause. And that single test is what separates a clause from a phrase, which we met back in Unit 3. If a group of words is missing a subject, or missing a verb, it is not a clause at all. Let's set a phrase and a clause side by side, because this is exactly where people slip. Read the first one. After the long rehearsal. Is anybody doing anything in there? No. There's no subject and no verb. Just a little preposition, an adjective, and a noun. That group of words is a phrase. Now read the second one. After the choir finished the song. Ask the very same questions. Who? The choir, and there's your subject. Did what? Finished, and there's your verb. Subject and verb. So this one is a clause. Same opening word, completely different creature. So every single time, ask the one question that decides it. Does this group of words have a subject and a verb? Now let's split clauses into two families, starting with the main clause. A main clause has a subject and a predicate, which is what makes it a clause in the first place, and it also expresses a complete thought. Listen. The lighthouse blinked twice. Subject, the lighthouse. Predicate, blinked twice. And when I stop speaking, your mind isn't waiting for anything more. The idea is finished. Because it can stand on its own 2 feet as a full sentence, a main clause is also called an independent clause. Independent because it doesn't lean on anything else. Put a period at the end, and you are done. Now the second family, and this is the one to slow down for. A subordinate clause also has a subject and a predicate, so it really is a clause, no question. But it does not express a complete thought, and it cannot stand alone. Watch what one little word does to our lighthouse. Because the lighthouse blinked twice. The subject is still the lighthouse. The verb is still blinked. Nothing changed there at all. But now your mind is hanging in midair because it blinked twice, and then what? You are waiting for the rest. That is why we call it a subordinate clause or a dependent clause. It depends on a main clause to finish the idea. So how do you spot one in the wild? A subordinate clause almost always wears a badge, a signal word right at the front. Most often, that badge is a subordinating conjunction. Because, although, when, if, since, until. You met those back in Lesson 11. Sometimes it's a relative pronoun instead. Who, which, or that, the words from Lesson 4. Now, watch how much power one of these little words carries. The cyclist rested. That's a main clause, complete and finished. Now I add one word, until the cyclist rested. Same subject, same verb, but the thought is suddenly unfinished. The signal word did that, all by itself. So train your eye. Find the signal word, and you have found the subordinate clause. Now let's watch the two families work together inside one sentence. Read it as one line. The band kept playing, although the rain soaked the stage. I've split it onto 2 rows so you can see the seam. The top row has a subject, a verb, and a complete thought. Say it alone and it's a perfectly good sentence, so that is our main clause. The bottom row also has a subject, the rain, and a verb, soaked. But that signal word, although, leaves you dangling. Say the bottom row alone and somebody will ask you, although what? That is the subordinate clause. 1 sentence, 2 clauses, and only one of them can survive on its own. Here is the mistake this whole lesson is designed to prevent. Take that subordinate clause and set it down all by itself. Although the rain soaked the stage. Period. It has a subject and it has a verb, so it certainly looks like a sentence, but it is not one. It's a fragment, an incomplete thought pretending to be finished. Your reader reaches that period and thinks, wait, what about the rain? The cure is simple. Give it a main clause to lean on. Although the rain soaked the stage, the band kept playing. Now the thought lands. We'll dig into fragments properly in Lesson 31, but hold on to the rule from today. A subordinate clause standing alone is always a fragment. Let's turn all of that into a 3-step check you can run on any group of words. Step 1. Does it have a subject and a verb? If it does, you're holding a clause, not a phrase. Step 2. Does it express a complete thought? And could you say it alone and simply stop? If so, it's a main clause, an independent clause. Step 3. Is there a signal word out front? A because or an although, a who or a which? Then it's subordinate, and it needs a main clause to lean on. And never forget the warning. Left alone, a subordinate clause is a fragment. Ready to try a few together? In this first set, I'll give you a clause, and you decide. Is it a main clause that could stand alone as a sentence, or a subordinate clause that leans on something else? Pause the video and choose before I reveal each answer. Here's the group of words. Because the tunnel was flooded. Check it first. Subject, the tunnel. Verb, was flooded. So it is a clause. But does it finish the thought? No, that word because leaves you waiting for the rest. This one is subordinate. The engineers rerouted the train. Subject, the engineers. Verb, rerouted. And when I stop, nothing is left dangling. The thought is complete, and it could take a period this very second. So this is a main clause. Who repaired the signal box? There is a subject and a verb in there, so it is a clause. But it opens with the relative pronoun who, and it leaves you asking, who did what exactly? It cannot stand alone, so it is subordinate. Now each item is written as if it were a sentence, with a capital letter and a period. Your job is to decide whether it really is a complete sentence, or whether it's a subordinate clause pretending to be one. Pause and try each before I answer. After the storm passed. It has a subject, the storm, and a verb, passed, so it is a clause. But the word after makes it subordinate, and a subordinate clause standing alone is not a sentence. The answer is fragment. The dock held. It's short, but look at everything that's there. Subject, the dock. Verb, held. A complete thought with nothing left hanging, and no signal word out front. That is a main clause standing on its own, so the answer is complete sentence. While the crew slept. Subject, the crew. Verb, slept. But while is a subordinating conjunction, and it leaves the thought unfinished. While the crew slept, what happened? Left by itself like this, it is a fragment. Let's gather it all up. A clause is a group of words with its own subject and its own predicate, and that is exactly what separates a clause from a phrase. A main clause, also called an independent clause, has that subject and predicate plus a complete thought, so it can stand alone as a sentence. A subordinate clause, also called a dependent clause, has a subject and a verb too, but a signal word, a because, an although, a who, leaves the thought unfinished, so it leans on a main clause to make sense. And if you ever set one down by itself, you have written a fragment. In our next lesson, we'll start building simple and compound sentences out of these very clauses. I'll see you there.